Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders, a podcast where people connected to autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, I'm your host, Rachel Harmon, a professional with over a decade of experience in the field of autism services, outreach, and advocacy. Do you sometimes wish you had a team of supporters to guide you in the right direction? Maybe you already have trusted friends and family in your close circles. Either way, you'll want to listen to this episode, which is part 2 of my conversation with Jonathan Gardner. He talks about how supported decision-making helped him get through his cancer treatment. Jonathan Gardner is an autistic self-advocate, cancer survivor, supported decision-maker, and motivational speaker. In this conversation, among other things we discuss, Jonathan being treated as a human being by his medical team, supported decision-making as an alternative to guardianship, overcoming the fear of public speaking, and tips for other autistic people about not being defined by autism. In this episode, discover what's possible when you are in charge of your life. And now, I present you, Jonathan Gardner. We have another question from one of our Global Autism Project staff members this time, Mandy Childs, who is the director of our Skill Corps volunteer program. Some of this you already answered, but maybe you can elaborate some more. She wants to know, when you were going through your cancer treatments, did you feel like your medical team was able to support you throughout your journey? So starting with being diagnosed, during your care, and after.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more complicated because these were all separate doctors at the beginning, and then I got my core team later on. Here's the thing. This is kind of a funny and I guess embarrassing story a little bit. Well, not really. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, it's a funny story now. So I took COVID and I use something called supported decision-making, which is an alternative to guardianship, which I'll get into it in a second, but the main story is first. So for supported decision-making, I have 2 supporters mainly from my medical side for that. My mother and my father. So going to meet with the doctor and all that stuff and basically getting your life ready to go for cancer is pretty stressful. So I needed 2 support people with me, my mother and my father. So we decided to create a great plan for ourselves that if I needed to, I would step out of the room and my mom and dad would take notes of the information and then, well, give it back to me so that way I can process it all since, well, it's a scary thing and it's just like, geez, sounds like a great plan, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was just one great big problem. We forgot to inform the doctor. So here's the thing, we're great friends now. Like, honestly, my entire team is like family, but I'll get to that in a second. But here's the thing. He walks in, height of COVID, me being 18 at the time, with no like guardianship or anything like that. Again, use an alternative. And he sees not 1, but 3 people in there. I feel so bad for this man now, but yeah, though. So after a little bit, my brain's just like, I gotta get out of here. So I reinstate the plan, but that takes like a little bit of convincing and lawyer speak for that. But eventually the doctor's like, you know what? He takes a huge leap of faith because there's HIPAA laws and a lot of stuff here in the States. It's just...
So he was resisting to talk about you and your medical concerns without you?
Yes and no. In the beginning, he was nervous because honestly, there was HIPAA laws and all that stuff that prevents all of this stuff sometimes from happening since supported decision-making isn't a law yet. I'm working on it here for Massachusetts with a wonderful, great team. But when it comes to this, supported decision-making isn't law and all that stuff. So he's taking a huge leap of faith on me, honestly. He was doing something for me as the patient because he realized that the only way to get the information to me is through this weird, wacky way. And here's the thing. Now my doctors are in full support of this bill called supported decision-making. But yeah, though, he took a huge leap of faith on me, and I can never be more thankful to Dr. Cody for that. So shout outs to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, though. So after that, I leave, and then I'm brought back in, and they talk through all the stuff that's going to happen. And then Dr. Cody noticed that I had a gaming laptop. So, do you game? And we just striked up a conversation for that, building that rapport. But through there, that's slowly landslide to basically, oh, I'm going to go see my doctor, to, oh, I'm going to go see some great friends of mine. Like, here's the thing. My doctors and nurses are like family to me now. Like, legitimately, I could not thank them enough for everything they've done. Through just chatting about WWE and reading manga to me, to literally coming to my house and hooking me up to an IV to get some fluids because I was too tired to drink so much. And so I wouldn't have to go to Boston every single time, since I live a decent miles away from Boston. So that way I could just be comfortable in my own house. And I generally cannot be so thankful to them in every single way. Not only did they respect my voice, but they truly wanted to take care of me as the human being, not as autism patient with cancer. No, as Jonathan Gardner, the human being. And I generally cannot thank. Do you mind if I just name drop them?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to thank all of them: Dr. Greg Cody, Nurse Christina Kim, Judy Ann. I'm sorry I forget your last name, and David. I truly can't thank you guys enough. I love you guys like family, and I just want to thank you for everything. Again, I know I keep saying it, but hey, now I'm doing it publicly, so you can use that as ego boosting, I guess. But yeah, though, thank you guys, truly.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so let's talk about supported decision making. Can you explain what it means?
Yes. And now let me get my salesman hat on, because I do this so much times that I sound like a salesman now. So, supported decision making is an alternative to guardianship, where it puts the person, me, in control of my life. I'm the decision maker in my life. I have used supported decision making since I was 16 years old. Since my mom and dad went to a workshop to find a little bit more about it, since my mom and I didn't feel guardianship was right for me, because, well, that's not how we really roll. I have a lot of, agency of my own life, honestly, and me and my mom respect that of myself. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but just to clarify, can you explain what guardianship is, just so it's all clear for people?
Oh, absolutely. So guardianship basically is a court-ordered person that kind of runs your life, honestly. But here's the thing about guardianship: you don't get to choose that person. That's never been how me and my mom's rolled, or my father or my brother. We've always worked similar to like a support network, funny enough. So my mom met with the superintendent, who was basically kind of trying to push guardianship on us because I take medication for my autism. And that didn't feel right for us. So my mom went to a couple of workshops, and then she brought back supported decision making to me. And here's my words at the time that I strictly said about supported decision making after learning about it. So it's basically what we're doing right now. And my mom said, yes. I truly do believe supported decision making saved my life. And I know what you're thinking immediately. What do you mean by that? Do you mean if a guardian did force you in, that you wouldn't be alive today? Maybe. Maybe I wouldn't be today, because I would have been so depressed, so damaged, that it wouldn't make any sense to me to even continue on. Because what's the point of living if there's no joy in your life? What's the point of going on if there's nothing you enjoy doing? What's the point of life if you're so miserable that you can't do that? And I know that's depressing and dark to hear. I do. But that's why I always try to find joy in every day. It's one of my lessons that I've learned from cancer, is to find joy every day. Like, from my background, you can clearly see of all the video games I have. Like, I've played most of them and still do, honestly. And for me, if I can just play one video game today or watch one anime episode, that's just one good day for me. And I truly do believe supported decision making truly saved my life, because it gave me the power to control it. Because here's the thing: I would have survived if a guardianship would have been a thing, but 3 options would have happened. 1, the exact same thing would have happened, because that's how me and my mom roll. 2, for some godforsaken reason, my mom decides to force me in to these treatments. Could you imagine the damage that could do to our relationship? Could you potentially imagine what that could have done to our relationship? Like, for me and my mom are like yin and yang, buddy cops and all that stuff. Same thing with my dad and brother. We're all family, all that stuff. The amount of trauma I went through and the amount of trauma that I've shared today, I'm pretty sure you could see because here's the thing, trust is very fragile. No matter how strong it is always a fragile thing. She forced me into those treatments that would have shattered all that trust instantly. Back to pieces and all that stuff. And then the third one, a guardian would have forced me in. And depression. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so just to clarify, Jonathan, how does supported decision-making work? Like you choose who you want on your team, right?
Yes. I basically choose people and then ask them for their permission or ask if they'd be willing to support me in these specific roles. For example, I have my mom as my everything, basically. Basically, I can go to her for everything and all that stuff. Or I have wingman and friendship advisor, Adam, my mentor. Hi, Adam. He's probably ringing his ears already. Adam Bowman, I believe his last name was. Yep, my mom's Donnie, so that means I got it right. So, hey, you're gonna be famous soon, buddy. But yeah, though. So he helps me with like friendship advice and sometimes even girls advice and all that stuff. And then I'll just do two more just to explain the concept of it, basically. Then there's my work advisors, Mara Sullivan and Anna Krieger. You can see how fast that relationship grew with Anna. But for them, here's the thing. And the reason why I bring it up is because I actually had one more person in the work field, but she basically said she couldn't really support me in that field anymore because of X, Y, and Z. So she decided to leave. I wanted to bring this up because this isn't like authoritarian. No, it's more democracy. But at the end of the day, support decision-making, the decisions are always my decisions at the end of the day. So similar to a CEO of a company, if you don't mind me using an analogy here for a quick second. Okay, so I like to think of myself like I am the CEO of my own life. Like I run the business of Jonathan, the Jonathan business, Jonathan CEO. But then I have subordinates. This is probably a much better analogy to use, actually. So I have subordinates. For example, my mom, my friendship and work advisor, Adam, and my work advocacy. And sometimes employees need to leave for any other reason, but I'm still friendly with those people. Then if I need to say, for example, I need some advice on friendship or about a specific person, I would go to Adam and get his perspective on it. And I would go to multiple people to ask their perspective on it if they're in that group. Or if I need some help with some work stuff, I would go to my work people and say, hey, this is a situation I'm going with. I want your guys' thoughts on it. But at the end of the day, no matter if I go with their idea or I go with my idea, the decision is always mine to make. That's the real power of support decision making.
Got it. So how many people do you typically have on your team?
Well, it's always growing, honestly, sometimes. Sometimes there's people that sometimes leave. There's sometimes people that stay and all that stuff. But I want to say my team currently is like 10, 12 people.
Oh, that's great.
It's never like, you must stay here. But no, it's mostly like, hey, if you can do it, you can do it. But if you can't, then you can just head out if you want. It's not a big deal to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's so great to have different people in your life that you can trust.
Yeah.
And so you said that you're working on helping this pass into a law in Massachusetts.
Yes.
As an alternative to guardianship.
Yes, I am currently working that with a bunch of people and a bunch of organizations trying to get this passed. It's legal in a couple of other states and even in another couple of countries, actually.
Oh, do you know which ones?
It's in 16 states and Sweden, the UK, Canada. It's also in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Ireland. So my So technically my home state because I'm redheaded in Australia.
Okay, got it. Oh, that's so good to hear that different governments are recognizing it because I think
Mhm.
I've heard that guardianship can be very contentious. Like we all know about the Britney Spears story.
Yeah.
And so having that option for people who need it can give them more autonomy, like you were saying, and feel empowered in their own lives and having that control.
Yeah. I will say though, I can speak for here at least. I don't know about anywhere else. There's been people that's been able to overturn guardianship for support decision making.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I actually speak to some of them. Actually, they are very active on this bill,
Mm.
honestly. And I can't thank them enough for their support.
Hey, Rachel here. Do you know anyone else who might find value in this episode? Maybe you know of an autistic person who might be interested in what supported decision making would look like for them. If you'd like to be a helpful resource, you can share this episode with them when it's over. And now, back to the conversation. Okay, so we have another question from one of our community members, Martin Slingstad. He's also another autistic self-advocate. He wants to know, what was the biggest hurdle you overcame?
The biggest hurdle I've ever overcame. A lot of people would say beating cancer would be that. But honestly, for me, I would say the biggest hurdle would probably be public speaking because I'm a very shy person. Honestly, I was sweating like buckets my first time I ever spoke publicly. Like on Zoom, it's a little bit more different. It's more like you're live streaming or something like that. Public speaking is so stressful. I still get the nerves after doing it for 2 to 3 years. So it doesn't get easier, people. Still gets the same, but it gets a little bit easier. But it was one of my most stressful days, honestly, to all that stuff because everything was so surreal. It was really weird. I had some friends in the audience. I had nobody I knew, and I'm just telling my story off of the script and trying to sound human and not like beep boop bop bop. I'm reading off script.
Yeah. What was that event?
It was the ARC Gala of 2022. It was my first speaking gig and really kind of how I got started in all of this, really springboard, because that was how all of this started to snowball into effect, where I started going to the State House every single week. And then I went to more public speaking events. Then I became an Operation House Call co-teacher and X, Y, and Z. And now I'm here and I barely have any time off for myself. but yeah, though, on a more serious, a more, less, I guess, more funny or less funny, depends on what you've been. But back to the thing. I'm going to be honest. One of my most stressful events I've ever done in my entire life was that, because honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I'm speaking publicly for the first time. I'm shy. And it's just oh my goodness. And thankfully, apparently it turned out well because now I'm well liked by the ARC. So
Yeah. Do you remember if there were any strategies that you did to kind of calm yourself down leading up to it?
Yeah. So before the cancer, all that stuff, I did martial arts with my Toro Vince. Hello. But anytime I mention someone, I'm just going to say hello when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, though. So he taught me a lot of meditation when I was doing martial arts. So I did a lot of deep breathing. I did a lot of trying to distract myself. I did a lot of practicing sometimes, and I tried to joke around a little bit. One of my support people, Adam, was there actually, so I got to talk to him for a bit, so that was nice. And yeah, it was stressful, but I got through it, honestly. It was a lot of stress, but I was able to put my faith into my support team, and they were able to help me out.
Mm-hmm. It's good that you now feel, well, I don't know if you feel comfortable doing public speaking. You said it's always hard, but it's important to get your message out there because you are an inspiration to other people, whether it's other people fighting cancer or other autistic people who are looking for ways to kind of organize their support or, just anything. You have this energy. When you speak, your laugh and I don't know, the way that you share your story is just really uplifting.
Thanks. Here's the thing with me. even with the darkest times and everything like that, if you can't have any type of, I want to say like, way to laugh or have some type of escapism or something to just enjoy stuff and not think about life, honestly, is just so helpful. Like, one of the many reasons I like Dragon Ball is because, well, it basically helps people with that stuff, either if it's just through like inspiring them to working out or just giving them a great escape. That's one of the things I love about it. And that's why I always say, if you can find any joy in every day, you can do it. And for me, why I guess to elaborate and kind of add to the question a little bit, how do I stay this joyful, honestly? How do I do it? Because I find a lot of joy in every day. Like, as simple as watching a good anime episode for some good escapism, or just hanging out with my brother and all that stuff, or just playing some good old anime games. I mostly play Japanese games. But yeah, I just want to enjoy life, have fun, play video games, hang out with friends, and try to just don't think about the dark stuff as much, because there's joy in every day and there's always someone that's trying to bring that joy to someone out there.
Beautiful. All right, Jonathan, I'd like to close with one last question. What advice would you give to other autistic people?
Don't be defined by autism. That's going to sound weird to some people, but let me explain. If you were to define yourself, what do you think of? For example, this either will be the most controversial thing I ever say or one of the best things I've ever said. So let's see how this turns out. So you should be who you want to be. Don't think that just because you have autism, you have a set bar. No, that bar isn't set except by you. No one can set that bar besides you can. For me, I was told that I would never be able to read, write, that I'd be living in a loft apartment eating bologna sandwiches. Guess what? I am a pretty good reader, I would say. I'm a pretty good writer, I would say. And I don't even like bologna still. So
they were wrong all around.
Yeah, they were all wrong all around. And this goes for everyone, autistic and non-autistic. Never think you have that set bar. Always know there's more to break through, and more and more and more to break through for your own set bars. Never think you're always stuck to X, Y, and Z. No. Always be who you want to be. Be the person you always wanted to be. If you want to, say, for example, want to try public speaking like me, since I have pretty good experience with that, and I can talk upon that. When it comes to that, I just have to say, always don't set yourself to one set. Always try to keep improving. I always ask people if there's any complaints or anything I can do better. That's not because I think I did something bad. No, that's because I want to improve every single time. I don't want me to be stuck at a thing being like, oh, I've peaked. All right, now let's just settle here and move on. No, I want to keep getting better. And that's the thing. Never be satisfied with just like being the status quo. Be you. Don't be anyone else. Be yourself. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Just be yourself and enjoy what you enjoy. Find joy in every day. As simple as just playing a Nintendo game or playing a video game or watching an anime or watching some pro wrestling or going for a run, going for a walk or whatever you want to do. Be yourself. Always be yourself. That is my best advice.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for your time today. How can people learn more about you?
So I have a couple of contacts. I'm on LinkedIn under Jonathan Gardner. I believe I have social media managers, I guess you want to call them. It's mostly my mom, but I have a Facebook page under All Together Now. I have a Twitter account under All Together Now. I have a YouTube channel under All Together Now where you can see all my speeches and everything I've ever said really on that stuff. I think that speech I was talking about earlier about the art gala is on there if I remember correctly. So you can see how nervous I was and then how I'm doing now. So who knows, maybe there'll be stuff like that. But that's everything for me, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, though, before we go, I just want to thank everyone for listening, and I want to thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with one person who you think will find value in it too. By doing so, you'll be helping us to improve access to autism services around the world. Thanks for listening. Take care.